All right, so we're going to go over a few of the more substitution problems. There were 10. We're not going to go over all 10 today. I want to go over a few today, and then we can go over the rest Wednesday. I will say this is something you want to make sure you are maybe going back over if you're having problem substitution. Because at this point we've spent quite a bit of time on it, but it is important, so I do want to make sure we understand it. All right, so looking at number 1, it had 4 times the square root of 5 plus 9t plus 12 times 5 plus 9t to the 7th dt. All right, so now when you're looking at this, there's a plus sign. So that means you can take the antiderivative of each addend separately. Because this is not a case where it's just products. So if I look at this, my u, I would say, is 5 plus 9t. And so the derivative is just 9. Now, with that being the case, I would say this right here is the square root of u. And then we have a 4, but this is a 9. And so the best thing you can do for that is you have to include the 4 and then divide by the 9. All right, and then in this case, there was a 12, and this is a 9. So I would say 12 divided by 9, u to the 7th du. Now, I know this 12 ninths can be simplified, and we will. But I want to now kind of clean this up. 12 ninths is the same as 4 thirds. All right, so now we can take the antiderivative of each. So the u to the 1/2 is going to become u to the 3/2 divided by 3/2. 4 thirds u to the 7th becomes 4 thirds times u to the 8th over 8. And we have our plus c. Now, before I even put my u back in, I want to do my algebra here. So, dividing by 3/2 is the same as multiplying by 2 thirds. And then the 4 thirds, and then this 8 is the same as having 4 thirds times 1/8. And obviously, if you don't need to show this step, it's fine. But I realized I was maybe skipping that step, and some people needed it. So I'm going to show it. So now, 4 ninths times 2 thirds, that becomes 8 over 27, u to the 3/2. 4 thirds times 1/8 becomes 4 over 24, which is, if you simplify, you would have 2 over 12, which is 1/6. Yeah, 1/6. U to the 8th plus C. So now, at this point, I would substitute in my u. And my u was 5 plus 9t plus 1/6 times 5 plus 9t to the 8th plus c. So this was a longer problem because it was like having a couple problems in one. But I hope you at least could follow the pieces. And this was assigned, I don't remember, the 28th probably. And so if you've done some of them, great. If not, I do encourage you to go back and do some of the ones that we don't get to today. So let's look at number 2. And number 2 is like having a couple problems in one as well because we have addition. So 7x cubed times cosine 2 plus x to the 4th minus, I was about to make a plus, but minus 8x cubed e to the 2 plus x to the 4th dx. Okay, so now our u is 2 plus x to the 4th, because if you look at that, inside the cosine is a 2 plus x to the 4th. The exponent for e is 2 plus x to the 4th. And so then our derivative of u is 4x cubed with respect to x. So now we look at this first, everything before the subtraction sign. So we know this is cosine u, and then we have the x cubed, but this isn't a 7, it's a 4. So the opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4, but you have to keep the 7 that it has. Okay? So we've set up the first part. Now, the second part where we have the 8x cubed e to the 2 plus x to the 4th, we have to set this up. We know e to the u. Guys, that's enough. E to the u. And then you have that x cubed is taken care of. But right now we have an 8 and this is a 4. And so if you need to, you can write it as 8 divided by 4. Now, hopefully, we all know 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we would have 7/4 cosine u minus 2e to the u du. So at this point, we can start taking the antiderivative. The antiderivative of cosine. So if you don't remember, I do want to go reference. Here, the antiderivative of cosine is sine. Oh, hello. The antiderivative of cosine is sine. So that would be 7/4 sine u minus e to the u, the antiderivative, you could also go reference, is e to the u plus c. So now, once we've taken the antiderivative, we can replace our u with what u was. And u u was 2 plus x to the 4. All right, and so that would be your answer. All right. All right, we'll do one more of these, and then I'll encourage you to do the rest of them. And we are going to need to do a graded assignment on this very soon. So I would say probably Friday would be a graded assignment on U substitution because we've at this point done a couple weeks with it, which is fine because I do want you to understand it, but we also do need to get an assignment in there. All right. So number 3 was 6e to the 7w divided by 1 minus 8e to the 7w cubed, let me put my integral symbol, plus 14e to the 7w divided by 1 minus 8e to the 7w dw. So we have to decide what is the inside function. So when I look at this, I see right here I have something cubed. And so I know what's inside those parentheses needs to be my inside function. So now, when I take the derivative of this, I know that's going to be negative 8. First of all, I know that the e to the 7w is going to be e to the 7w, but you have to also take the derivative of the 7w, which is 7. So 8 times 7 is 56. And so looking at this, the e to the 7w is in both of these. The difference is we don't have a negative 56 in any of it. But that's okay because we can divide out that negative 56. So that's going to be 6 over negative 56 u to the negative 3 plus 14 over negative 56 u to the negative 1 du. So now that's 6 over negative 56 can reduce to 3 over 28. And then u to the negative 3 would become u to the negative 2 divided by negative 2. And then 14 over negative 56 would reduce to negative 1/4. So I'm going to make that a minus. And now u to the negative 1, hopefully we remember, is the natural log of u. And if not, it's in that reference that you can reference. Now, the one thing I would do before I replace the U is I would simplify this, because that's two negatives, and then that 28 times 2 would be 56. U to the negative 2 minus 1/4 natural log U plus C. And so at this point, I would go ahead and replace my U. All right. So that is how I would go about that. And a lot of the little pieces here is just algebra. It's just remembering, simplifying fractions, multiplying fractions. And that's the parts that you have to just, go slow with, make sure you're multiplying things correctly, um, all that. So, does anyone have any questions? Like specific questions? All right. So, what I encourage you to do is, even if you've done 4 through 10, I'd go back over and look over it and make sure you really